Okay, so what you're about to see is a short excerpt of a very long video that goes across multiple days of mass provokings everywhere I go, all over Los Angeles. Remember, this is worldwide. This is just a small fragment of the entire video, but kind of the climax, as you would call it, if you were thematically talking about making a movie. This is no movie. This is real life. Mass, now worldwide gang stalking operations with the police, government, and let's say FBI to try to cover up what they started in on me at 5 years old, which were basically government kill operations. Let's be honest about what's going on, because it never stops. I find out something's wrong at 29, met with Mike Huntley, with all these death threats that you're pretty much a dead man with the police. And it starts at 5 years old with government and psychological flagging operations. So in this video, I go out and I show at 47 now, which I've known for 18 years, watching all day and night, 24/7 mass worldwide mobbings, especially since 1994. And the internet came around as they saw a newer technology they could use in my eradication. Notifying the masses worldwide to hunt me down, try to make me look like a crazy man, a violent, paranoid schizo, some guy who has nervous problems, anxiety problems. And these labels change on a weekly basis to make their agenda look justified. So I go out and I prove, which I've been doing. I have over 10 terabytes of photos and videos of these operations for the last 18 years, which the police don't want me talking about. So much so, even back in 1996 or something, taking a photography class at University of Colorado, before I even knew, ended up in them sending a person with my brother after me named Mike Wexler to threaten me and hunt me down, that I better not ever take a picture of a person. Now, it's not illegal to take pictures of people. People do it all day and night. There's no reason anyone would say that unless there's something about the people around me or the things going on around me that they don't want me having a device that could gather proof and evidence, even though I got into photography to create art, do studio shoots, or photography at all levels, from sunset, macro photography, candids, wide angle, narrow angle, telephoto, whatever, just to create art. But the fact that I bought a camera and did nothing, just bought a camera, actually borrowing a person named Chad Bauer's camera in 1996 and taking in a photography class was the end-all be-all. This cannot happen for the police, government, and people in the communities around me, showing that something freaky is and has been going on, that someone wouldn't want me having any piece of technology that could record events on, whether it's a still image or video, events around me, because within that frame, you see what's going on, or you see accessories to murder. Needless to say, them not wanting me to have a camera, but remember, I'm not allowed to do anything. I'm not allowed to create art, have cameras, talk to people, have friends, have relationships, have sex with people, whatever, it doesn't matter, because somewhere down the line, starting at 5 years old, the government decided they were going to flag me and they want me dead and gone. Hence, opening up at 29 a can of worms of me starting to find out that something was very wrong with the endless death threats, a lot on video. You don't talk or we kill you. Some vague, some obvious, but no matter what is said at this point, it's all pretty much coming from a worldwide conspiracy that you don't talk or we kill you, no matter how subtle or direct it is, because there's no reason why someone would support something like this. With some of the comments on video to me, you better learn to accept what's going on, or it's going to get a lot worse for you, or no relaxing for you, nigger, or things like this, pardon my language. But those types of comments, whether they're subtle or vague, would never be said to someone. The only thing, if someone's a good, moral, well-grounded person, the only thing they're going to say is, this is unacceptable. Stopping you from breathing is unacceptable. Locking you in a cage is unacceptable. There needs to be a real reason and a real justification and procedures that everyone else has, called the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the United States has been bypassed from me since I was 5 years old. Even the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and the police in an uproar that I'm passing out cards or have a website with my family speaking out that these people won't stop, they won't leave me alone, and they don't want anything truthful coming out, and my life is of zero importance on any level, and there's no actual legitimate reasoning or justification because they can't successfully set me up, so the only thing they can do is say, well, in 47 years, I think you might not pay your taxes, so we're going to lock you away in maximum security prison, or something like this, right? Things that, oh, you went to a coffee shop and you read a book and you rested your feet on a chair, so you're a public nuisance and we need to lock you away in jail cells and mental institutions. Doesn't really make much sense. People don't hunt people down for relaxing, reading books, putting their feet up on a chair with worldwide support, or tapping their feet around people like Aubrey Fisher, sent after me by the LAPD with Rody Morales, which you've seen newspaper clippings in some of my other video of Rody Morales sent after me to catch a murderer, and then coming after me at the same time as Mike Huntley weaseled me to go to the gym so that he could have Rody Morales befriend me by my house, things like this, right? Things that don't really add up. Strategic setup, frame job operations while Rody decided, Kevin, let's go to strip clubs, try to make it look like I was hunting and stalking strippers and porn stars. This was the fourth person, Eric Christensen in Southern Oregon State College, Bal Morozov in University of Colorado, and Rody Morales and Tom Farley out here. You get the idea, right? Something's freaky going on with the police trying to get Rody Morales to plant trash bags of marijuana in my house, which he failed like usual. But they can't get any of those real crimes to set me up as a drug dealer or something like that. So they're coming after me for things that don't matter, that nobody normally cares about. Showing their true colors, their desperation. He was flagged at 5. We're going to hunt him down and exterminate him or kill him or try to lock him away for no reason at all. And now he knows, starting at 29, so now the cat's out of the bag, so now they really have to cover it up. Hence the illegal arrests and operations. Why the people are helping? Well, that gets into a very psychologically complex scenario based on people that helped Adolf Hitler kill Jews and things like that. Okay, so in this video, which is just a tiny piece of these mass, endless, all-day, night, worldwide attacks, the big tactic that's been going on for a year and a half. Remember, there's thousands of similar tactics and repetition and things like this done to me all day and night, 24/7. But the big one on this video is the man tactic. Now, what's so big about the man tactic? Well, for some reason, person after person, worldwide, especially around my neighborhood when I take walks, will walk up, try to spark a conversation, and then say man, and like, hi, how's it going, man? How you doing today? Are you okay, man? And it'll go from every single person I talk to, showing the mass communication and conspiracy with technology, internet tools, SMS systems, cell phones and SMS, you name it, telling everyone, do this next thing to Kevin until we can spark a reaction and get him to say or do something that we can arrest him, lock him away, say he's a violent, paranoid schizo, a public nuisance, you name it, to eradicate me. Back to what's the reasoning? We just don't like you. We just don't trust you. We just don't think you're a good person. No actual crime. Now remember, this doesn't apply to anyone else in the world, or most of the world, at least, more importantly, the United States of America, which, with what we have, the Constitution of the United States, to protect us against corrupt cops or people for things like this, or pathological liars like my father. So, my point is that why are these things being bypassed? Through things like FISA or Patriot Act? Well, these are good, important questions, but I'm not allowed to ask these questions or tell anyone what's going on because people will actually ask the important questions. Hence, people sent after me, like lead officer Sean Dinse, originally Jensen's partner, who I was forced to call internal affairs on, who arrested me for sitting on the sidewalk. Then tried to throw in all these trumped up charges like you supposedly battered someone by throwing a card at them. which isn't even true, but impossible even if it was, or the endless Kevin's trying to force cars or force people on his website. Oh, but also I'm not allowed to write books either, contacting all the ghostwriters that were helping me write books, right? Okay, and the threats from the police about writing books. Okay, so you understand, if you're hearing the true story, what's really going on, the oppression, you don't talk or we kill you, and you do what we say, or we do the equivalent of mentally shoving a cattle prod up your ass every 5 minutes, saying it's in the name of control. There's no such thing as control. People don't control people. Shoving a cattle prod up someone's ass physically or mentally is attempted murder, whether they want to cover it up and say it's about control or not. There's no such thing because the Constitution of the United States says you are a free man until, and then the punishment must meet the crime. Okay? And then we have judicial systems to prove it, and the judicial systems aren't infallible, as I've seen myself. The corrupt judges, the corrupt lawyers, you name it, a lot of them just want to make money. A lot of them play games like, because you were accused of a crime, therefore you're guilty. Well, that doesn't make sense. Why are they lawyers? Because that goes against what the judicial system is about. Now, I don't want to get into all that. I'm going to stick to topic. Some of the tactics you're going to see on this video, once again, they're in the thousands and worldwide. The man one, which I was sort of focusing on, so each public place I go in, not just coffee shops, not just Starbucks, Coffee Bean, banks, restaurants, restaurant after restaurant, the hostess or waitress will say enjoy one sequentially after the next. You get the idea. And everyone in the world. Okay, so they're each saying man to try to provoke me into reactions. I didn't say anything, I didn't threaten him, I didn't say anything, I just said man. Why is the guy so hypersensitive about man? Well, could it have to do with you have 100,000 people a day saying it in such a way that I know what you're doing, but I'm not allowed to tell anyone? Okay, so their entire intent, their entire psychological warfare operation derived from the KKK and Adolf Hitler, is to say man over and over, and this goes on all day and night. It's been going on. That one tactic about a year and a half now. Aubrey Fisher, I tapped my foot by her. 6 years, people worldwide, wherever they see me, tapping feet or tapping on counters. Okay, you get the idea. So you're also going to see the cars in 2s and 3s backwards. What they do is they'll either park the same identical cars forward together, like 2 Priuses, 2 white Jeep Cherokees together, or they'll park 2 cars, different ones or the same ones, backwards in a parking lot, which is now, after 2011, most parking lots all over the U.S. are pairs of cars in 2s or 3s backwards, and then it's a sporadic, just a car backwards here or there, but you can really distinguish what's going on when you see the 2s and 3s together from place to place, which I have insane amounts of video of that, showing that something's making these people migrate together, and it's not telekinesis, it's internet-based tools. Okay, so the cars of 2s and 3s backwards you're going to see, the identical cars together, which have insane amounts of photos and videos around here and everywhere else, but especially around here. The honk twice tactic, 2 or 3 times the alarm button. When they push the alarm button, they push it 2 or 3 times. If I'm around, they go beep beep or beep beep beep. And I literally have audio recordings and video of thousands per day just around the local area. And this is worldwide, wherever I go worldwide. And instantly, when they come up with a new tactic, it's disseminated through internet tools worldwide instantly, within minutes to the world. Showing you that internet-based terror and torture and murder systems were built around me starting in '94 with my brother so adamantly calling me up at University of Colorado, wanting me to see the government-created internet, which wasn't really private, super private back then, colleges and government, with motive and agenda to cover up his mass crime spree starting at a young age against me with he, his friends, and my family. Okay, so people waiting in cars with lights on is a huge one now. And what makes it more obvious is they wait in cars with lights on backwards, and sometimes even together. So when you see the pairs of twos with lights on, what they'll do is I'll come home from a place and there'll be about 100 people in my local area waiting with lights on, directed at me, and then they'll kind of follow me from place to place, going where I am, and then parking and waiting with lights on to try to trigger me into a reaction to make it look like I'm a violent paranoid schizo, or any other label they can throw on me. So the people waiting in cars with lights on, or waiting in cars, but mostly the people waiting in cars are kind of watching me, and then they'll text out to the groups, this is where Kevin is. And then the ones with lights on that want me to know, we're provoking you, so please attack me, because the police are going to help us hunt you down for unfathomable reasons that don't make sense, because you went to a coffee shop and rested your feet on a chair, or you bought some shoes they don't like, or maybe you left your house one day and you had a blue shirt, and having a blue shirt is a crime. I know, it doesn't make any sense, because worldwide flaggings and extermination operations, or what Adolf Hitler did to the Jews, doesn't really make much rational sense, but hate, fear and hate. Fear and hate. I don't like you, I don't trust you, you're not the superior race, you need to die. Or you're not part of my clique, so you need to die. So because you're not part of my clique, you might talk to someone in my clique, so I'm going to hunt you down and kill you. I don't know, I'm just going through theoreticals, but the personality trait is that of a psychotic murderer that fits the profile of Adolf Hitler, slave owners, or anyone that is a power-hungry tyrant, and it also fits the profile of people in the United States government and NSA operations, because what kind of sickos build data mining systems to data mine and collect on hard drives every single person's, every minute detail of every person's life on a hard drive in the government facilities. If that isn't fear-mongering, a bunch of paranoid tyrants with unlimited resources, I don't know what is. And the reason I state that is because the technology being done to me isn't coming from Joe Blow down the street. Oh, hey, I just want to screw with this guy. These are government operations, government flagging operations, and government kill operations. Okay, so remember that these things being done to me isn't by one person that you can walk away from. It's being done by the masses, and the masses worldwide, outside of this country, Germany, Ukraine, Russia, Japan, Philippines, all the programmers I've worked with, thousands over the years, all with instant communication back to the police and government, especially my father in his office, and mass groups taking turns coming up with newer and newer murder operations or murder tactics to eradicate me because they don't want me talking. So what you're about to see is, remember, Dinse is the lead officer of these neighborhood watch groups, but they aren't neighborhood watch groups. They're neighborhood kill operations or extermination operations, because the definition of a watch group is concerned citizens that cruise around, and if something happens, they call the police. Not we all meet at the Topanga Division LAPD and talk about how we can remove someone from society. Now remember, some of these death threats have come to me from Officer Toro at Encino. If you ever take a picture of a person, I will exercise the law in my own way, linking all the way back, and that was about 2010, 2011, linking all the way back to 1996 at University of Colorado with my brother's friend Mike Wexler sent after me with the police and government, working with San Diego PD in some setup attempts and operations and frame jobs. When he came in after I took a photography class. Well, that's strange. Someone in a photography class isn't allowed to go out and do photography? Okay, so you understand how this keeps going, linking from person to person, back and earlier and earlier, and it actually goes way back to 5 years old. And I'm not going to get into that on this, but you need to understand the why they're trying to cover this up. And anyone that tells you that I don't know you, Kevin, and we don't know what's going on, or I should say a good 70 or 80%, of the people do know what's going on, probably a lot more, then they're lying. Then they have motive. Or they're trying to cover something up. They're not honest people. So when you see what you're about to see, you're going to understand that these people are told to make up lies and cry wolf with the LAPD. the LAPD, like Lead Officer Sean Dinse, Officer Toro, Officer Jensen, Officer Toro, I'm going to exercise the law in my own way. Linking back to Aubrey Fisher, who didn't want me getting into studio photography. Pretty strange. You're going to understand that these people, what they're doing, they're being told to by the police. Now, Officer Dinse is now claiming that I've supposedly threatened to kill all Starbucks customers from this incident, which wasn't an incident. It was me being mobbed to death and them not liking it on video. But Officer Dinse's claim to cover up the fact that these people realize that they're on video is to say that I've threatened to kill all Starbucks customers with the Topanga Division LAPD, trying to get this into courtrooms and to judges to make it look like I'm a violent, paranoid schizo who there's no place to have me in society. Now remember, this keeps jumping from tactic to tactic since 5 years old. This is just the next tactic, but it also shows desperation that they can't do it in a stealthful way. So the more video and photos I accumulate, the angrier they get. And the more lies they have to spew out that are more derogatory, because their original intent was to do it cleanly with no loose ends and try to get me to flip out and just start pummeling someone that looked like it was for no reason, and they failed on every occasion, even with these false last 2017 false arrests with John Dinse, fabricating police discovery and reports. Not only that, but proof of him contacting Terrence Scroggins to go after me with many others to hunt me down, and Terrence Scroggins' testimony on the court stand showing that Terrence Scroggins was contacted beforehand by Dinse to hunt me, and all sorts of things that I couldn't get because I was lied to that all the evidence, the proof I have, is inadmissible as evidence, which was complete lies. But I have insane amounts of data to bury them, and they know it. Hence the 6 break-in attempts by the LAPD and one with my father to try to plant things on me or get anything to use against me or try to figure out ways to silence me. You name it, all on video as well. And Dinse after this hopping my fence with thug letters from Starbucks Corporation, showing that Starbucks is directly involved in investing huge amounts of dollars to have people physically attack me, like security guard John Paul Naranjo, because I got proof of paperwork he tried to blackmail me into signing with false confessions, and all sorts of things like that they're all trying to cover up with security companies, masses worldwide, you name it, on a now 42-year extermination operation, okay? They can't set me up, so they have to cry wolf. That's the point. Okay, so some of the people who are involved, which I just mentioned, Lead Officer Sean Dinse, his lackey lead partner back in 2013, which I had to call internal affairs on, for accusing me of things like being a pedophile, working with people in my father's office, trying to either set me up, frame me, or just make up cry wolf that I'm into kitty porn, with 100,000 other accusations. I've hit women, I'm a car thief, I'm this, I'm that, blah, blah, blah. It goes literally just like the tactics to exterminate me. There's literally thousands of cry wolf tactics. I'm breaking into people's houses, I'm breaking into property, I'm trying to force cards on people, this and that, right? It just goes from thing to thing. It changes on a daily basis. Jensen, Toro, these are just Dr. Ronald Barry Perlman, my father, who starts this thing with his secondary psychology degree and poses as an orthopedic surgeon at Golden State Sports Medical, while on the side paying off people like Lorena Escobar since 16 to hunt me down and have me killed with these operations. Contacting everyone worldwide, do these things to Kevin. So that's pretty much it. So what you're going to see is proof of me videoing and getting these mass attacks while people are attacking me, where I'm simply trying to go get some coffee. And remember, the longer footage has what's going on in restaurants and other public places, coffee bean, not just Starbucks. And you're going to see all that later, but I'm sticking to the topic here because recently Sean Dinse is now fabricating lies with prosecutor Crean T. Phillips, stating that I'm now threatening to kill all Starbucks customers, working his pathological lying and cover-ups because he wants to run for city council, and he realizes that he screwed up with Jensen in 13, showing that he's a criminal and a murderer, and I have tons of proof of other illegal operations and mail fraud operations with Dinse, working with people here, the dog attacker guy that he's posting on his Facebook, and then these things are happening, pretending that he's going out and stopping crime, but he's actually paying off people to sort of commit crimes and then pinning them on other people and arresting them and saying, I stopped the crime and I'm a hero and things like this. I don't want to go too deep into that, but I want you to understand who Lead Officer Sean Dinse really is. Other things that aren't on this video are Dinse working with his neighborhood watch groups to try to get me to go after strangers and try to make it look like I'm thugging women in bathrooms and weird freaky things like this, that he comes over the next day and tries to break in my house with some of his laggy buddies proposing to be FBI and things like that. That's on other videos though. So now, before you see Starbucks getting upset that they're caught stalking me and hunting me in these attempted murder operations with the LAPD, who are accessories to murder, and telling the people to do it on their neighborhood watch cover-ups, I'm going to show you a brief clip of an interview with me and my therapist, Brittany Henderson, who has seen tons of video footage and has witnessed live by going outside of her office these mass attacks, showing that no, Kevin is not crazy. That these people want me dead and gone before I ever knew, and then once I found out, they really want me dead and gone. For no actual legitimate reason. His kind can't exist. We don't trust you, we don't like you. When they keep using my kind, the little cryptic messages, asking me what my sexual orientation is, I'll flat out say it on this video. My sexual orientation is of a guy told he's not allowed to date anyone except Adriana Alvarez, tried to force her on me from my father, saying, you date this girl or we kill you, and you're not allowed to go out and meet who you want to meet, do the jobs you want to do, have the friends you want to have, all working with the LAPD, police, government, NSA, FBI, which links into something much bigger, posing as control, but it's not really about control. The reason I'm single still at 47 is because you can't have friends or relationships when there's a worldwide campaign to kill you with the police and government saying you do what we say or we kill you, but we're going to kill you anyways, and you date and do this whoever we tell you, and you better marry this person, you better have a kid with this person or this or that, trying to suggestively force me into these situations, except it's not really about that. It's really about how do we make this guy react and make him look crazy. So once again, without getting too sidetracked, here is conversations from therapist Brittany Henderson, who has seen just a tidbit, but insane amounts, not 10 terabytes of it, but insane amounts showing that this is just completely insane. She has witnessed on video, she has witnessed out in front of her office, all the way out in Thousand Oaks. I live here in Woodland Hills, so how is it that she walks outside of her office in Thousand Oaks and witnesses thousands of attacks? Okay, now I do have a longer interview for you with Brittany, but this is for this purpose. Showing that Sean Dinse is a pathological lying murderer running for city council and will do anything known to man with the LAPD to silence me for what they've done to my life, because they don't want anything truthful coming out, and they don't want me having a life or a good life or any kind of life, because it exposes them as accessories to murder. So what they're doing is just like my father and Mike Huntley told me, Kevin, you're not allowed to defend yourself. Literally, I'm not allowed to defend myself, even the First Amendment freedom of speech, or there will be harsh ramifications, which is very strange. Okay, so, do you think that I am capable of what Officer Dinse claims while sending people like Victoria Walker after me and the endless others working the same angle since 5 years old.
Capable of hurting somebody? Is that what you mean?
Well, okay, yeah, capable of hurting, violent, paranoid, schizo, capable of hurting, a danger to myself or others, and Dinse's most recent claims that I've supposedly threatened to kill all Starbucks customers, his older claims that I'm like the Vegas shooter or the Unabomber working with Victoria Walker.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so
You
5
are
months
not-
after...
Here's the thing, like 5150, like you said, it's if somebody's like going to be a harm or could be a harm to themselves or somebody else. Like, no, you are not.
Which is a
you're
temporary thing. A 5150
Temporary
is in a
hold.
long-term... There's no such thing as he's a long-term crazy violent guy.
No.
Law and violence is based on short-term events. So a 5150, some guy flipped out and went crazy. Worst case scenario, they check him in for a temporary...
He's out in 3 days unless
Correct.
they extend it, which that's still only 14.
Correct. So there's no real such thing like Dinse's Facebook account, which says forcing people into mental institutions
that's
is institutionalization or
yeah, that's not that. Okay, that
putting
whole
people
thing,
in institutions that he doesn't like or approve of.
No, there has to be like solid ground for that.
Yeah, and so to try to make Kevin look like he's a crazy, ongoing public nuisance is their agenda. But
you've never been violent? No, absolutely not. Like, if I thought that about you, I wouldn't be working with you. You know, if I did not feel safe, like we sure wouldn't have been working together in therapy for like 5 months.
Yeah.
You know, so that's completely false.
Yeah. And then some of their other claims are, I think I'm Jesus, and I think I'm the Messiah, and I think I'm a hero, and like the whole delusion of grandeur.
You never said anything that would make me think you thought that ever.
Yeah, but that's some of their tactics to try to push me to that point.
Yeah.
So what do you think their agenda is? I mean, you
That's
you yourself are saying, with a psychology degree, that you could not ignore it. And I don't think any person who's a human being can.
If anyone is being just like tortured or like somebody's coming after them every single day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no way to ignore it.
Yeah. So what do you think you would do, even though you can't really know?
I would try and get help. I would try and like make it stop, you know? And I think that's what you're doing because you said information is.
And you have. I'm not. I don't want to put you on the on the rail here because I know you can't really answer the question. But how do you think you would get help? I mean, what would you do?
What you know, like going to the police and telling them.
And they say we're not going to help you.
I honestly don't know. But that's
my. Well, you just sort of try to think about what would you. You can't ignore it. So what would your next?
I would try and get people to help me, like to see,
like understand it,
to understand.
Okay, so there you go, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that is what you're saying is that what's called in gang stalking is actually called normalizing, letting people understand and know, to try to normalize the situation back to normal, so that people understand that. Oh, you know, this is what's really going on, which is very difficult. And it's not like a sure thing, because remember, gang stalking is the very select few, and this isn't even the term gang stalking is a very unofficial term, because it's so rare. Community harassment groups, cause stalking, gang stalking, these aren't official terms, right? And so you yourself has just said, I can't ignore it. So you gotta let people know what's going on. Except in my case, is you don't talk or we kill you. And if we're not talking one person here, we're talking worldwide.
Right. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Lead Officer Dinse is running around making claims that I am the next Vegas shooter, Unabomber, and has now filed police reports with Starbucks employees. With Topanga Division LAPD working with Starbucks employees to cover up the mass crime spree he is involved in against me. Do I seem like someone that would try to kill all Starbucks customers, or any for that matter? And what do you think about Lead Officer Sean Dinse?
No, you absolutely are not somebody that would try and kill all Starbucks customers or anybody. I've not seen a violent tendency at all. Zero. Like I don't feel that way at all.
Okay.
Truly. Like in my whatever clinical opinion, whatever it is, you're not. You're a very kind person, and you've done nothing of the violent nature at all. You've actually tried to protect people, like when you were younger and everything. You told me about that.
Yeah.
So,
like Greg Wall, my brother trying to bash Greg Wall's neighborhood patrol.
Yeah, and that you got in the middle and tried to stop that.
Now their argument is that at 29 I snapped. I'm a crazy man.
Right. And for a while, like, you questioned yourself, like you said, like you didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Well, I didn't question myself. I questioned the situation.
Correct. What was happening to you?
Like I can't believe I'm seeing this, but I never questioned. Am I a crazy guy?
No, like like you said, the situation you were willing to kind of like
it's a difficult situation for anyone to grasp.
Absolutely.
And I don't care if someone's sitting there fantasizing as if it happened to them and how they would react. There's a difference between fantasizing about something that isn't going on versus what's going to happen when it actually happens to you.
You never know.
Now, I'm going to have a surprise for you next week. I actually have video footage of the incident where Starbucks employees have called LAPD claiming I threatened to kill all Starbucks customers, and you're going to get to see the event on video showing I haven't threatened anything at all, and they got mad because I have their mass mobbings on video, and they found out that they're on video doing it. Right. So they called the Dinse crew at Topanga Division.
Did they come?
They didn't come out. That was some of the things they probably wanted to ask me questions, but according to my attorney, Seymour Amster, the Starbucks employee, remember, Dinse has broken on my property after the break-in attempts, dropping thug letters with Starbucks. Whether they're real or not, we don't know, because Dinse is a complete nut job. And by the way, that violates all boundaries because police officers don't generally hop fences to drop thug paperwork from coffee shop corporations on you. But anyways, without getting too sidetracked, because they found out I had an entire 2 days linked with multiple Starbucks locations, and then each employee going, man, to me, that's one of the tags. Hey man, how are you? Are you having a good night tonight, man? And me narrating in the camera, see, I just went to this Starbucks, and I think I went to 4 different Starbucks in one night, simply walked in, bought a coffee, walked out, and each one said, hey man this, hey man that, and I narrated the camera, you see, they just did it at this location along with all the other things, and when I walked out, the girl picked up the phone making claims that I threatened to kill all customers.
That didn't happen.
Correct. So you're going to see that next week. Okay, so what do you think of the reasoning? What do you think the reasoning is the police refused to be honest and held me? I think I had that question like 15 times in here, but actually, I think we jumped. That question was meant for the end, but we talked about it. Okay, what is your opinion of lead officer Sean Dinse and he is doing and is involved in?
I would really like to talk to him and see what he has to say. And I would like to ask, like, why nothing's been done to keep you safe.
Well, because remember, Dinse is a good guy for the community. He's cleaning up the community. And so he has his neighborhood watch groups, blah, blah, blah. And he's just creating a good, clean, healthy community of perfection. So
what about, that's something I want to ask you too, like, what do you want to happen? Like, what could happen that would make it better? Like, you better? Like, what would you like to see Dinse do or whoever else? Like, so...
Well, first of all, when we talk about my opinion of Dinse, which is a very accurate opinion, is that man should not be near any job with power, and technically he shouldn't be around any job. But he is corrupt criminal slime, preying off the weak to get to the top, hence now in politics running for City Council District 12, by going after good people that could possibly have problems, could possibly suffer from mental illness, might be homeless, might be an eyesore. Remember, Dinse is here to clean up the streets. But what is Dinse's definition of cleaning up the streets? Eradicate all imperfection. Okay? You've seen set-up operations of the Dinse Neighborhood Stalking Watch crew going after the homeless while trying to set me up.
That lady in the restaurant.
Yeah, like make me part of their mob or gang, right?
Yeah, to get you involved.
Okay, well think about it. What did the homeless guy do? He might smell, he might have ripped clothing, he might... But what did he do, right?
Yeah, nothing that I saw.
Yeah. What is it? What is that? Okay, so I'm on my way home, and I figure let's just stop at another Starbucks, see if they do the man tactic or one of the other tactics. Now you'll notice for years I have this parking lot backwards, no plates, like the other ones. Let's just kind of document the parking lot first. They're a lot more forward today, but still we got one backwards there. We got one backwards here. It's a lot more normal than before, but still there's things going on. And you'll also notice that the cars backwards here, there's a higher rate of cars backwards here than at the at the Encino. We're now in Woodland Hills. We got 2 cars backwards here, across from 2 cars backwards here, right? So why is this lot a lot more cars backwards and those lots a lot more cars forwards, right? You know, what's going on? Well, there's obviously a line of communication telling people at certain locations, if Kevin comes here, do these things or don't do these things, showing mass communication to stalk and terrorize and torture and kill someone that's 5 years old. This is where people usually sit towards the street with lights on. Car backwards here. Car backwards here. I see they all look like they mostly have plates though, which is interesting, because I just came out of the Encino town, whatever, and Encino town center, and you saw the amount of cars with no plates, right? Now for some reason these cars mostly have plates. This one doesn't right here. And we have a guy waiting backwards, 2 cars, this car waiting backwards, and that car waiting backwards with the lights on. I think all these cars actually have plates, and if you see my other videos, there's like tons of cars here with no plates. So now we're getting closer to where I live. They're still doing the cars backwards, but there's tons of cars. Now they all have plates, right? I mean, if you look at my video, every single lot I go into around here, 40% don't have plates in the lots. You know, some huge, insane number like this, right? Now remember, the tactics keep changing from thing to thing, just until I'm dead and gone. So let's go in here and order something and see how they treat me for simply going in and giving them my money, right? Like all other locations on the planet. Okay, so before I walk in, I want you to see the pairs of 2s backwards. And then over here we actually have 2 Priuses backwards, or 2 Priuses forwards together, right? So 2 Prius owners parked 2 Priuses together forwards at this Ralph's, just like the Ralph's in Encino, right? Also, you just heard someone push their alarm button twice, working on me. Just the one, this one.
Hey, 125?
Okay. Yeah, man. Hey, scared me.
I always do that. I just like will come around the corner and just like skate chest all the time.
Okay, so this guy also said man, like the other places, right? Showing, and a piece, showing that there is a mass communication.
There is, man.
And so the scams of the Starbucks Corporation with the, you're imagining it and your kind can't be anywhere at a Starbucks, Coffee Bean, Pete's, or any other public place in the world because we're going to kill you for some reason. You've just seen once again at the third location within an hour showing that there's a mass conspiracy, right? And this time, tonight, is people saying man over and over, right? Something that's now been going on for 6 months on the man tactic. Remember that these tactics, they keep changing from one to the next over and over, right? It goes from man to buddy to this one to that one to the next one. And as you're imagining it, you don't tell anyone. Well, why are they doing it in the first place, right? That's the question of all questions. Okay, so you'll notice when I go in, it's noisy. You can't really hear the employee, what he's saying. The first thing I want you to notice is the expression on all the people's faces there. They're all angry. There's Kevin Perlman. He's coming in here. I get this look and expression every place I go worldwide, not just Starbucks, not just coffee shops, restaurants, banks, malls, supermarkets, public parks, you name it. What's the reason? I'm not allowed to know. And when I walk in, the audio is all muffled. You can't really hear what's going on. But luckily, I had a backup source on audio, and so you can hear the words. First, you can hear the girl that I'm as nice as can be to, like usual, like my 40 years of usual. You can see I say absolutely nothing to her. After this, she puts on like a scared look and jumps away and has the guy take over. Okay, so you can hear it on audio. Nothing was done to her. Nothing mean, nothing done. I didn't scream out, you stupid bitch, I'm gonna slice your throat. Anything at all. Nothing at all. Just, this is what I want, thank you. Okay, so then the guy takes over and he starts in with the anger. Now you're gonna hear this on the audio part. And the guy says, hi, how you doing, man? Okay? Once again, the man tactic. Person after person after person after person, trying to provoke you. Then I say something about, sarcastically, I'm trying to scare you, or so, I don't remember what I said. Something sarcastic, like, sort of friendly, like defending myself. And then he sarcastically makes a statement that I committed some crime, although he does it in the sense of, yeah, I know, I like to scare people and drive really fast around the corner and things like this. Right? Trying to cover up what they're doing by accusing me of something. Now that comment's pretty vague. I mean, first of all, if you were to break that comment down, you could apply that to probably every single person on this planet who might have come around a corner too fast and maybe didn't see some, or something like this, right? But remember, Sean Dinse is running around with his worldwide neighborhood watch group. Kevin has driving issues, and Kevin supposedly killed someone with guns, knives, cars, mental telepathy, and sending aliens after him. I don't know, right? But the point is that I'm making is that they will say and do whatever it takes to eradicate me. And like I said earlier, that their accusations, whether direct or indirect, innuendos, are switching and changing on a daily basis, How can we try to get something to use against you to justify your eradication, which starts at 5 years old, right? Okay, now that actually links into all sorts of videos I did about since 16 to now, the out-of-control driving tactics, where I expose all the community people since 16 throwing vehicles in front of me that I had to avoid and trying to set me up and cause accidents and things like this, working with Tom Farley, who actually did, when I was 16, come around a corner really fast in his Kelly Hatchish Jeep, almost hitting someone in a crosswalk and then pinning it on me with 100,000 other things like this. Okay, I'm being a little dramatic with 100,000, but maybe, who knows, a good 100 falsified incidences that have been given out to the world that don't exist and are complete fiction, also known as propaganda, or riling up the masses to hunt down and kill someone. And remember, those are all civil crimes like libel, slander, defamation, and in this case with criminal intent to kill, hunt down, kill, or eradicate, destroying someone's life with damages on every level, including trying to damage breathing. If you get the idea where I'm coming from. But I just want you to understand that when I come in and I'm the nicest person known to man, they're playing this game, oh, Kevin's an asshole, and Kevin's doing this to me, and Kevin's doing that to me, blah, blah, blah. The girl jumping back and pretending that I did something to her, which you can clearly hear on audio or see on video. Nothing was done in any shape or form, and then I leave and I threaten to kill all customers, and I'm threatening people, and I'm doing this and doing that. But wait, if I walk into a place, an employee is working psychological warfare tactics at every business in the world, or private location from person to person in the world, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything to provoke a situation. And then, if I simply get proof of these worldwide mobbings, you threaten to kill all Starbucks customers. But there it is, the man tactic done all night. And remember, I'm going to have a longer video from place to place and thing after thing like this, showing that these Starbucks employees, with every other employee, with Starbucks corporate funding to have me hunted, killed, and eradicated. Gee, I didn't know that that was corporate agendas to make businesses better by killing his kind or Jews or whatever. I can't tell you why they're doing it. I can just tell you it's racist, bigoted, profiling and labeling with pre-crime fictional delusions, now being fueled by Topanga Division, LAPD, but this is worldwide government strategic murder operations over things that nobody could care less about. Showing that there's a real agenda to do whatever it takes to remove me from society, no matter how nice or perfect I am to every single person. It does not matter. They're going to just keep coming after me with larger and larger groups. Crying wolf, next lie, next lie, next lie. But where this all breaks down is when we have LAPD division, with San Diego PD and every other PD, and government operations, even going up to FBI and NSA level. This isn't about anything I've ever done, obviously. They just don't want anything truthful coming out, and they knew that I was doing videos of their out-of-control driving tactics starting at 16, so they got angry. You don't talk or we kill you or eradicate you. Hence, Officer Sean Dinse trying to figure out ways to lock me away in cages or mental institutions for the crime of talking about what's being done in my life. The First Amendment, freedom of speech. I've never heard of a person that's being hunted to be killed be followed by people saying, you don't tell anyone that we're hunting you to kill you. At least not by the mass groups. Maybe a select few, like if you're in the mob or mafia, you don't talk and then they put a bullet in your head or something like that. But I've never heard like news sources and media and this go, yeah, you don't talk that we're going to hunt you and kill you with psychological warfare tactics and these psychological torture operations. And then I say, what's it about? Well, you tell us. You tell us why we're trying to kill you. Right? As if, so then I'm supposed to sort of dig down deep and fabricate something and say, I did this. And they go, okay, well, see, it's justified. But what's it really about? Because people don't act or behave this way. Hi, this and... Oh, just the water, ice water.
Okay, 125.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing both. How you doing?
Hey,
man?
good.
You're chipping behind me.
Scared me.
I always do that. I just like will come around a corner and just like scare the shit out of me, like, all the time. Get out of here.
Okay, so this guy also said man, like the other places, right? Okay, so let's go and just, for the hell of it, go up to these Priuses, just like at Encino, 2 Priuses. So you can see what's going on, right? These coincidences. Now remember the Encino, let's see if they're Lyft drivers. Remember the Encino, no, he's not a Lyft driver, and he's not a Lyft driver. So remember, oh, now we have a car that's pulled up, look backwards with his lights on towards the Ralphs. Okay, so remember the Encino, someone parked a Prius and then a Lyft driver went to, he parked next to him waiting for me, and he never left his car. He was sort of lying down in the seat, and so he was lying down. Oh, now we have the girl on the phone all nervous as if, oh my God, you know, how dare he, right? And then over here it looks like we have, I don't know, they look like they're somewhere, but I can't tell. Okay, so, okay, so my point is that, okay, so my point is that Lyft driver showed up, strategically, because they were sort of profiling, or he might go into the Ralphs, right? And so they show up in their cars with these strategic mental illness tactics, right? Now the girl in the Starbucks freaked out on the phone, but you know, we all make choices in life, and the choice to take part in hunting down and trying to kill someone and going there, this and there, that, to try justifying it, is the wrong choice, and the correct choice is that it's unacceptable to hunt someone down and kill them, right? That's the correct choice. It is unacceptable to get angry mobs to hunt down and kill someone, and here we are 17 years later of this all day and night 24/7, which I find out starts at 5 years old, is unacceptable. So what kind of people are these, right? Who make choices based on it's okay to hunt someone down and kill them, and say whatever you need to say to make killing them justified, right? I mean, that's pretty much the consensus. Now, you'll notice another thing, but it's hard to really notice because my camera wasn't pointed at them. At each coffee shop I went into, the girls like bolted like and let the guys serve me, right? As if I've done something to a woman or something like that, right? Strategically, like not one random woman, but strategically, with like hidden messages, right? So if you go into a place and let's say some woman pretends she's afraid of you, that's one thing, but at each place you go, the woman like ducks for cover or something, like pretending that you're a danger to her or something like that, trying to make you look like a violent paranoid schizo. Well, you'll notice that at each place I went in, the woman like hid, right? Like, I'll let the guy serve you, right? And I noticed this starting down in a couple days ago down in Baldwin Park. Well, Baldwin Park is 2 hours away from here, right? So if I notice this pattern, in Baldwin Park, and now in Encino and then Woodland Hills, right? And they were calling me man in Baldwin Park too, at a Starbucks, and trust me, coffee bean or pizza or whatever. Then what is their motive? Now there's another Prius waiting with his lights on, another guy waiting towards the street with his lights on. There's another Prius here, but okay, so there are a lot of Priuses, so that's hard to prove. But if we go to this next Ralph's shopping center and there's 2 Priuses by the Ralph's, close to the door, right? Sorry, that was a security guard just sort of waiting, pointing towards that direction. So then, if I go to this Ralph's and we see 2 more Priuses together waiting by the door, you'll get the idea. But remember, earlier, what did you see? You saw a security guard on a different property trying to tell me it is illegal to take pictures on private property. Okay, to sum this up in a conclusion, this isn't about anything I've ever done wrong on this video or ever. This is about silencing me, Kevin Perlman. You don't talk. And trust me, I have tons of video. You don't talk or I kill you. You better learn to accept what's going on or things are going to get a lot worse for you. All sorts of things from strangers all over the world. Yes, all over the world. And it's Twitter threats and Facebook threats in subtweet form, showing interconnected events worldwide with instant communication. The point I'm making is, if I go to a coffee shop to simply sip on some coffee, relax, get some work done, I am met with literally thousands of people showing up or people waiting to take turns in an angry rage to try to provoke me into reactions, to remove me from society with the police and government. The whys, there is no real reason why other than, why did Adolf Hitler kill so many Jews or minorities? Or why are there slave owners? Why has history shown that anyone that's either different or someone thinks they're different have horrible things been done to them? People who believed in different religions have been killed over it. And while you would think we got past that, apparently, when it comes to me, we haven't, with lots of psychological labeling at childhood. But nothing official. Remember, these labels are not official labels. They're just from hearsay with people that don't like me with opinions, if that makes sense. And trust me when I say I've seen lots of people in the psychology community that when they realized I knew what was going on, they instantly turned into pathological liars with lie after lie after lie after lie. And the big one from Topanga Division LAPD is I'm a violent paranoid schizo. But where are they getting that information? Because I don't actually have any evaluations that I'm a violent paranoid schizo other than from LAPD officers who want me dead or gone, or my father who doesn't want me talking about things like him putting shock collars on his dog Rhoda or locking his dog Maggie in a cage for most of her life when she had an entire backyard to run around in. And why would he get so mad that I have idle conversations with friends at the University of Colorado, not blasting it on like Channel 5 News or anything, just having an idle conversation, and all of a sudden people go ballistic based on me talking about my life, right? Do you understand? So I'm just going to sort of sum this up. What you're seeing on video, not only did I not threaten to kill anyone or threaten to do anything to anyone, as you can see on video, but you also see the girl not really too clear on camera, but the Starbucks employee picks up the phone. She calls Sean Dinse with the LAPD crew saying Kevin came here, Kevin got video proof, what are we going to do? I can't tell you the exact words, but I'm telling you what's going on. So LAPD and Sean Dinse with prosecutor Karine T. Phillips run around saying, I'm a violent paranoid schizo, who's the next Unabomber, who's the next Vegas shooter, hence if you link back to all Dinse's operations, trying to make me look this way, sending people like Mike Huntley, Victoria Walker, Matt Von Malaki, Rody Morales, and so many others after me to try to make it look like I'm some crazy man like the Unabomber and a Vegas shooter who's on edge and about to snap. This is all strategic and designed since 5 years old to eradicate me. So, what you're seeing is a Starbucks employee contacted by the LAPD to hunt me down and have me killed, shirking all responsibility so the LAPD can sit back and eat donuts while they do it, have random people do it. The LAPD refuses to put a stop to anyone that does anything to me, no matter how much proof I have, showing that they're telling them they're aiding and abetting and are accessories to murder, and telling the people to hunt me down and kill me. Officer Toro, if you ever take a picture of a person, I will exercise the law in my own way. But remember, this starts at 5 years old, so if you ever breastfeed incorrectly, we're going to exercise the law in our own way. And by the way, photography is perfectly legal, and taking a picture of a person is completely legal. So what is it they're trying to hide? Showing the connected events, and most of these events on video and a lot more. Showing that the Starbucks employee is an accessory to murder, and they have to make up a cover-up lie to lock me away and incarcerate me for life, quote-unquote, from the judicial system. Why? Because I turned 29, found out I was a target being hunted with Mike Huntley, threatening my life, or using the system against me, walking around the office singing World of Paranoia, dropping papers on my desk about people in South Korea being controlled with mental illness tactics, and all sorts of weird things like this. In an angry voice, have a good life now. Things like this, showing that this guy, Mike Huntley, sent after me at 14, who was my friend for 25 years, who reeled me back, wanting me to come home from University of Colorado with my father and family, were all strategic operations to get me close to the people that want me dead and gone. Okay, so I will sum it up here. And remember, there is a lot longer video in this, about 2 days, maybe 3 days, of events going from place to place to place, where you're going to see the same exact things from person to person, business to business, coffee shops, restaurants, mass cars showing up following me, mass people showing up in parking lots of public locations, following me from place to place. How do we rid this guy of the world? Extermination, eradication, government kill operations, starting at 5 years old, now with worldwide support, making me 10 times more known than Donald Trump. Whether people want to admit that, that's a whole different story. But they sure as hell don't want me out living my life and mentioning it to any stranger on the planet, and that is strange. Or hiring writers to write books with me.